So team, welcome back. Session 4 for our day 1 SDET training. So we have more days to go in a total of 10 days program. And we are now talking about Selenium Web with Java. So I want to make sure that at this time you've all installed Eclipse IDE, Java JDK, and are ready to be able to do our first program. So towards the end of our previous session 3, we created a new workspace within Eclipse. So very briefly, team, what Eclipse does for us is Eclipse, like I was saying, helps us to write, maintain, and run Java programs and projects, team. So the same things can be done using other text editors and command line interface, but we can avoid CLI, that is command line interface. Command line interface is where I open command prompt like this and say Java-C and then the Java program and then execute the program and so on. So all those steps are included for us into one application. And that's something it will take a little bit of effort and time for you to learn. Now, take this as conceptual. Don't try and digest everything if you're not sure yet. But at least you get the flow of things and then keep applying, keep practicing. Here are the steps, team, that we're going to do now. The first thing is that pop-up window that came up once we opened up our workspace. Everything in our Eclipse is divided into workspaces, have projects within them, projects, programs, hierarchy, almost folder structure. So if I create project WebDriver 1, since you already have your Java with environment available, basically are selecting the latest one, which is 1.8 version, and keep that as default. I didn't change anything out there and say finish. It's created now. There are two sections. JRE system library. Don't worry too much on it. It has got inbuilt resources that we need, so we can avoid those. Eclipse ID is kind of for now. Again, this is their application by itself. It's got its UI, it's got its features. We will understand slowly what we want. So Package Explorer, everything here. Source is where we'll start writing our program. If I right click on it and say new Java, here class means Java class team. So right click and I said new Java class. It will create a class under that folder, and I'll show you what it does. So I'll say my Java, adding this void main. Just check this box, team, so that it gets added. And also go in depth into core Java, note there tutorials and I'll put the link in the for those things. Little fast tracked on Java, I'm not too much, but the fact that how you can progress into it. This is a simple Java program, team. So if I save this, and all these features are available for us within Eclipse IDE, that I can edit. I can write some comments here. Comments are not executed, ignored. Right? So at this point, team, all that I want you to be is that our focus is going to be in this section a lot, where we write our. I don't need the other features like task list, outlines, or the smaller section that we have at the bottom, keep it, because when we execute, we will see what comes across. Now, there are a few things that I'm explaining as a concept. Keep it as relevant. Even automation engineers who work on a lot of automation projects, what is critical is knowing the fundamentals. You don't necessarily have to be a strongest Java developer team to be able to survive in the automation testing role. How do we apply? So with that in mind, let's talk about a few things. So I'm writing a couple of statements. This is my start of test, and to make it more explicit, visually it looks like this, and end of test. I'm saying test because I'm trying to not just write a Java program, we're trying to write a Java program that does something. So at this point, if I just saving it by hitting this green run, I get start of test, end of. And please note, we're going to focus a lot as we keep going along on every feature of the programming aspect also. It will come into play either through this or the core Java tutorials. I want you to ignore what all of these keywords mean now. I want you to do a copy paste job. So look at this code, write the same code, but copy with your eyes and paste with your typing. That's why I'm not going to share the code right away. I'll share the code a little later. Whatever you see, I'm expecting you to replicate. Now, for us to get started with under things work, simple things I'll create like this is variable declaration. That says that I can have a value of 10 and J can have a value of 100 and point. Cannot. It's not decimals, so it is integers only. So those kind of declarations important. Any point in time, you can print things like value of I is plus I and value of J is plus J. And now when I run this code, I'm showing how a simple program runs. So each time I try and run a code team, I'm changing, right? So it's asking me each time you want me to give you this option or just check this, always save and resources before launching. Team, I do expect you to go back and watch this video. And once again, can you confirm audio is okay? And I want you to make sure that you repeat them. I may be speaking quickly, only get to the point. But when we get to that Selenium WebDriver, we'll keep on repeating on that. Now, do you see any issues in this code? Is everything working correct? I is 10. The prints are coming correct. And that is where I hear one message from someone saying my voice is cracking. And also, team, is the result correct? From that, you will get more interactive as you practice session next year. Is the value that is where correct to be we're doing value of I is 10, value of 110. No, it's value of J. So we got to make sure a program correctly written. That is where problems come in. First program. I'm going to create another program similar to this class SWD. So this time it's a different one. And paste that code in here, whatever we did in the previous one. What is important for us to know is class name here and my file name, that file SWD1 have to be the same. So once that is there, those red line errors, syntax errors will disappear. In this case, I don't need my variables team. But then for me to start working with how do I say applications and a test, the first thing is I have a URL. Remember, we have something like a base URL. So I'll just say BURL equals team. I'm hearing a few things. Questions and challenges. Are you all staying with me on the screen as well? Subhadar is from the and got that. So I'm going to put it here. That's a variable for me. Now, why is that important? So that I can use that to navigate to my main website and continue from there. Voice is not clear. Audio is sentences are not complete. We have an audio issue. It's definitely a network issue. I don't see else. I'm not if it's because of home. Give me a minute, please.
Team, before this, we just created a base URL. Now, the whole idea is to talk about something called as a WebDriver team. When I say WebDriver MyD, by default, this is something that is not recognized by Eclipse or Java team. And that is where we need to import our latest WebDriver from Selenium.dev. Let's go to our Selenium.dev. Internet is bad at slow team. See that. It's also because 1 second team. I had to cancel my upload there. So I was trying to also upload video back of what we were doing. So that's why there was a little delay. Okay, where are we? Selenium.dev. So we've come to the download section team, and you are basically scrolling down to look at the latest WebDriver, the binding for the platform team. So the C# bindings and so on. Let's go to our Java download. It's going to be opening up. Download. So here it is. I'm going to open this with Windows Explorer. And what am I downloading? I need the Selenium server. There we go, team. This is the latest stable version that I need to download. go somewhere? It's not doing anything, team. It's bad internet. Let me write the code in the meanwhile. Oh man. Too many of them getting downloaded. Meanwhile, I'm just going to quickly write the code, team, what we need. Property. We're going to first work for WebDriver. Chrome, we're going to try a few things. And I need to mention where my string Chrome equals. I'll quickly explain both of these things. Download Chrome. So team, the first library that I have is to help me to understand what is there in our overall. So in SDET March now. So actually under the training itself, I'll create a new folder called library. Whenever we need to be working with an external application other than what Java comes typically inbuilt with, we need to be using some external libraries, and each one comes with it. You will see this list increasing as we keep on adding more and more relevant libraries to it. So at this point, I've added the Selenium server, the main one, latest stable version. Okay, it will also work for Grid, but that's the main WebDriver one. The next one is Chrome driver downloads. Please let me write it also to the document. One. And depending on your Chrome version, team, and that's also an important one. 79, 80, or 81 are the current ones. Right-click on these three dots on the top side that you see for Google Chrome, and go to Help, About Google Chrome, and you would see the version. So mine is an 80 series version. So in the downloads now, I'm basically downloading this 80 version. So team, it is important for you all to repeat the same steps at your end to be able to practice. Now, the one that I'm interested is in Chrome driver Win32. That's it. Execute it. I'll unzip it, team, by open with Windows Explorer. And here you'll see basically a Chrome driver jar file, and it's a executable. So I've copied that, and I'll put that also into my library. Now these two are most important for me. I'll tell you why. So the first is that WebDriver MIDI won't get recognized. Anything to do with Selenium WebDriver, unless I import that library. So I right-click on my project, come down to, what am I doing? Properties. Go down all the way to Properties team, and you can come to Java build path here. So Java build path has the concept where before it, builds the whole program together, it wants to get those libraries packaged into it, so it can efficiently run what it needs. So here, what I'm interested in is in the library section, and I can add external jars to it. So when I click on add external jar, and I go to our training, and I go to libraries, I'll see only one, the Selenium server standalone. The Chrome is an executable file. I'll tell you where we can use that. So once I say open that, apply and close, you would now see when you take your mouse over WebDriver, it'll, why is it not recognizing this yet? I should be able to import those libraries team. Save it first. Still didn't recognize. Oh, there's an error here, that's why. Chrome driver equals to. Now, Chrome driver is nothing but the path to it team. So this is here, right? So I right click on it, properties, and from security, I should be able to copy paste that entire path. So copy that, Control C, and paste it here in code. So the double slash is added so as an escape character. That's my Chrome driver. So now I take my mouse over WebDriver. You would notice that it is found an import that we can use because there's a library that we need. So I link that, and that gets recognized. At this point, what happens, team, is my driver is linked to anything, any driver. It has got nothing to do with specifically a Chrome driver. Unless I start using where it says system.set property, my WebDriver, Chrome driver is, and give the path to it. I think that's the one. Where that exe file. See, the entire till.exe, I'm providing it in here as a variable. So couple of variables, and this is hard coded as of now. Now what I can do, I can say my D equals new Chrome driver. So now what happens, team? WebDriver is a basic package that's got all the basic libraries. But once we look at the specific instances of Chrome or Firefox and so on, you will have to import their own specific one. So there I have a Chrome driver inbuilt to that library. So this was our earlier system library that had a few inbuilt ones, and now this is my reference library that we are adding. So the Selenium server standalone has so many different Java class programs that we can run. So it's picking based on what we want to use. All right. So it doesn't have to necessarily always get all the entire things from that jar file. Now, at this point, teams, when I say my D dot, I should be able to see all the commands that I want to see. And navigate is one of the first ones that we can do and say, go to the base URL. And then I'll say my D dot close. Actually, it's navigate dot to. And we'll learn more about this command scheme as we keep going. Why is it? Okay. Navigate dot to the URL. And then I'll add a sleep for maybe 3 seconds. So that's 3000 milliseconds. I'll walk you through this code, but I quickly wanted to at least create a code that we could run, execute, and show how it works. I'm gonna add the declaration for interrupted exceptions, and that's good. And here's my base code. Now, typically, team, you would notice that here is how any Selenium WebDriver code may look. And when you run it from Eclipse and Java, and it's going to perform the same typical actions that you want it to do, that you're doing it from Selenium IDE. But now you have a great source of programming control, where we are literally able to go through each and every aspect of how we can change things. It's actually navigating. Internet is bad, so it's taking a lot of time, team. I'm sure that's happening also because of, and see, this taking a lot of timeouts. Because it's also trying to put it through a sleep cycle of 3 seconds. But the page itself still has not loaded. Now it's loaded, I guess. And closed, execution done, and everything we can see out here, team now. All right. Now this is how a base code will look for Selenium WebDriver. Let's create two. I just did a Control-C, Control-V thing. It helped us do that entire thing. To change the name of the class, let's re-understand this code so it's easy for us. First, I created two variables, team. Base URL and Chrome driver. This has the URL, this has location to where my Chrome driver is. How does it know what is WebDriver? When I say my D is WebDriver, it knows because it is importing here and because we added that reference library. Under the same library, I had to also import Chrome driver because it's the next one that I wanted to do. And similarly, you will see for Firefox, Safari, and so on, the different drivers that we use to be able to execute cross-browser testing. Now, what is it that I want to do? In here, let's talk about the same test cases that we already did with Selenium IDE. Something like find freebie. So after I open and go to the website, I want to click this link, click on ID skills, type here send key. Now looking at the Selenium IDE, I want to write the code here. So do note there are a couple more variables may be coming. What are they? Actually, let's do the first one. Selenium. So there's string v term, like what is it that we are talking about, and then v search result, what we expecting. So in this case, let's say v term equals Selenium, upper or lower case, I don't think it should matter for the result. Then I'll say v search result equals 1139 profile available. So the big difference, team, for me is I'm putting this information upfront as I keep building my program. I'm not trying to hard code anything. I'm parameterizing. So it helps me to evolve my test easily. Now what do I want to do? I want to execute these steps. What are these different steps? Exactly same like what we created in this Excel. So let's do this and take this in here. So each step has its own specific thing, right? So let's do this. So go to application and a test. So which are the steps that are helping us go into the application and a test? Okay, WebDriver MyD. Okay, system.set property also is helping. Then here it is helping up to navigate. I think it's doing that. And we're saying we'll sleep for a second maybe after that. All the steps are going under my go to application. Then comes click on see all freelancers. Team is gonna get very interesting as we keep going into it. How do we click on freelancers now? Everything on the driver called MyD. If you change MyD here, you can change it everywhere. That's a name to it. And what is most important from now is we've gone to the application. In that application, we have to find an element and do something. And that is going to be what we do. So the first step is find element and execute something. Now comes the next thing that is important. So find element here is exactly like finding a target here. Okay. The difference is I need to put that information here. Now, remember I was talking about the different methodologies that are used to identify elements, ID, name, CSS, link text, partial link text, XPath, and so on. All of these are available here, team, in the arguments. I'll show you how. As soon as you say by means using which methodology? By using XPath, by using link text, by what? By which methodology? All those will come here. See, class name, CSS selector, ID, link text, name, partial link text, tag name, XPath. These are the key ones, team, and class. So here, what am I looking at? Link text. So I'll do the same link text here. Now, what does it require? It requires the value. What is the text that you want me to click on? I say to see all freelancers. Now, team, what we have done is look at the portion of the code. So far, I've gone to my browser, which is already on my application and test, and I've gone till my element by using link text. So I've only found out where it is, located it. I did not perform any action, any what to do on it. Now I'll say dot, and then it'll tell me, hey, you know what? You could perform these actions like clear it, click it, equals, again find element, a few things like that. Instead of for us to be very precise, there are only typically few commands, team. As you keep going, we will evolve around the command. But here it's a link and we want to click on. Now we've gone to that next page. So in the next page, I want to type in the keyword. So how do I do? MyD dot find element again by using what methodology? What methodology did we use here? ID. And the value is S, small one, but the value is S. Dot ID. There you go. And in here, I give S. So this section of it, though looks much shorter than the line 25, still identifies that element. Now you found the element, do something on it. What do I want to do? I want to send keys into it. I want to, one second. Type won't be there. Yeah, I thought it was something with type and send. And the value that I want to send into it is my V term. Think, yeah, this is correct. I don't see any errors here. But why didn't it recognize V term? Okay. Now get result, then verify result, then close application and test. We're getting towards it, but we need to test this out, at least if it's doing till here. Let's keep the close open. That way I can see what is happening as well. Now I'm rerunning. Which one is it running? Let's make sure. Yeah, it's running the latest one, SDET 2. It's taking timeouts because how is my audio, team, and the sync between audio video? We'll take another 10-15 minutes today, team, and we can connect again. I think it'll be Monday. Sorry, not Monday, Wednesday. All right, thank you. The intent, team, in the next couple of weeks, we're gonna complete a lot of content at this pace. Yeah, video must be a little lagging. Even the website is taking forever to load, team. And it's a bad scenario to actually keep executing automation tests in this case. Because constantly it is trying to ping the application. So WebDriver always opens its own browser, team. If you already have a pre-existing browser open in your system, it does not interact with that. It will open a new browser and it will work with it. It will never touch the one that is already open. And you would also see Chrome is being controlled by automated test software. So I believe it has executed everything, team. There you go, Selenium. It did perform the test and end of test. Now, a lot of timeouts that it's kept receiving that it came up, but, and don't worry about all the things in red doesn't mean that things have gone bad, team. It's just that status itself is getting printed with those inbuilt library. Now we are able to send keys. Now the next one is to get results, team. This should not be too tough. Let's work on this quickly. Find elements by dot. How did we do that? And since I've already put the effort there, I'm going to use that. I said verify text CSS is dot plural. So let's use that. We have CSS selected. Actually, in this, it's not CSS selected. By CSS selected, my class name. Class. What was the class here? Class was plural. That is what it used. Link text is used for any hyperlink. So, for example, though this button here looked like a button, it's actually a link only. See, all freelancers is not really a button. In these days, what is happening is they're putting a link itself, but they're adding some color and styling and CSS to it. So it looks different. It looks almost like a button, but it's a link. So if I say inspect and I go here, it's a starts with A. A is for anchor text. So that's basically saying it's a hyperlink coming to that, going to that link text. URL, sorry. So that's the one. Where was I? Where were we stuck? We were here. And I was saying class is plural, but class is not plural. I was trying to do the same thing. Inspect. Plural. Space. That's interesting. What was here? I want to see team. Plural. Space. I can use the alternates also, team, that fails. If that fails, it's got the other X path, but I'm going to use class is plural. Make sure class is plural. If it works. By dot class name is plural. It has a space. I don't know if that how that behaves, but we'll find out. Now, what do I want to do once I get that? I want to get text from a team. I want to see what comes out, and maybe I'll put it into a variable called string my result equals to this, and then let's print out saying my result is plus my result. Now it should be telling me the information that I need almost in a similar fashion to the IDE. Like in here, we had concepts of log, where we could say what step ran, what failed, how it ran, and so on. Something little similar to it, team. It's going slow. I hope I can get a solution for something like this tomorrow at least. Not tomorrow, yeah. It has to wait for the page to load before it can click or perform any action on it. You believe it's slow everywhere? Internet networks these days? Then the corporate bandwidths are not getting used, correct? So that should come to our place. It wasn't slow yesterday and last week, it's just slow since this morning. What happens with streaming team is it has to take your audio, video, and then stream it live, correct? So it requires some good bandwidth. Otherwise, we will have that audio, video lag as well. Let me see, I should be able to record on my screen independently and do something tomorrow. All right, team. So test seems to be happening, but it kind of phased up some errors, team. And it seems to have hit an error because it could not maybe find that element. Let me see what that is. No such element exception. It either timed out or it did not find that element, team. The only problem is even to retest, which typically should take only a few seconds, is taking plenty now. Yes, you can navigate to other screens and other applications on your system when the script is running. Don't minimize the window that where the application is being automation test is running. You can open up and work with the other one. Oh my gee. All right. I'll let it run through slowly and let it do its course. And I wanted to talk about JUnit team today, but I don't know if it is enough time for us to speak about JUnit. Okay, so it's done its thing. Oh, the result, it gave the result team. Do you see this? My result is 5076 profiles available. Why did this come? It came even before we entered. We never hit the enter key, remember? Where did we use that enter key? We clicked on it. We typed in the keyword. But after that, remember, we forgot the key enter, and that is what we're going to do now. So here, and inside, what we're going to mention is dollar. Let me make sure. And this is where please keep using your Google searches. It's very critical to be able to find solutions team on the fly. Anytime we don't remember. WebDriver, Java, key, enter. Keyboard, enter. Typically, Stack Overflow is a great resource team, but you just want to make sure you have the right spell. I think it's keys.enter. But let's see. Keys.return. Keys.enter is also fine, I think. So here it is keys.enter. And it should be able to send our enter command. And only after that will we get the result. This is a good time maybe to pause it for a second, make it sleep team. Type in keyword and hit enter. In fact, that's the mistake even in a manual test case. We did not say, that specifically get results, verify results. I think that was enough for a manual user. As we get more into programming and automation tools doing it, we want it to do a better job. Okay, team, I'm going to quickly rerun this. Any questions so far on whatever we've covered today? Would you all be able to get enough chance to practice and do some assignment on just repeating whatever I did? It is okay if you want to try it on a different application as well. Just want to see how it works at your end. My thread.sleep giving error happens often. You want to show it in one of the Code Java classes, please? And also in the next live session, Prachi? What's happening there? Is CSS plural comes under class name? Yes. See, because in the code for that application, as we were inspecting, class name is given by the user, developer. They can give any name that they want. So this word called plural was given by a developer. Now let's research again. Right click and inspect. Right click, inspect. A lot of it that we do. So if I only want 1139, then I can say found underscore post or something. But if I want that entire text, 113945 available, then the class is plural. And that is what we used here. And it still is timing out, not able to withstand the amount of weight it's going through. And even if I put a implicit weight here with such bad network, it's not reliable. Great. So team, when I'm coming back, next session, I'm going to talk about JUnit and how we can write these tests in JUnit, take it a little bit more advanced, then TestNG, automation framework, and mastering XPath and element identification. Those are the topics for this week. All right. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you back in day 2 then. Take care. Bye now. Thanks all. Bye then. Thank you.